the very first chord of the song is basically based on a C power chord shape. Your first finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the A string. Your 3rd finger is going to go on the 5th fret of the D. And then your 4th finger goes on the 5th fret of the G. Alright, but within this chord we're actually letting the B string ring out as well. So we technically call this a C major 7. Yeah, we're going to be playing an arpeggio. This song uses a lot of arpeggios in the verse, which means holding on chords but playing the individual strings. So we're going to go like this. Okay, so basically you're going to be playing the A string, the D string, and the G string, all with picking downwards. Down, 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 and then you're going to hit the B string, G string, and D string, all with picking upwards. This will help it flow a lot better. So you're going to do this: down, 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 up, up, up. That's the basic pattern for this song. There's 6 beats in a bar here. So what we're going to do for the intro is we're going to play that 4 times. 4 times through that 6-note pattern, so it's going to sound like this. Okay, so once you've done that, then it does that 4 more times when the vocals come in. So we're into the verse now, but we're staying on the same chord. 4 bars. Then for the next chord, all we need to do is basically swap your 1st and 3rd fingers around string-wise, which means your 3rd finger basically is going to be on the same fret, the 5th fret, but it's going to go down to the A string, and your 1st finger is going to stay on the 3rd fret, but it's going to go up to the D string. So this is our new chord shape, but then you're going to pick exactly the same strings and the same amount of bars as well, 4 bars. Okay, so after that, we actually have what really is just a G major chord. Your 1st finger goes on the 3rd fret of the low E string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the A string, 4th finger on the 5th fret of D, and 2nd finger on the 4th fret of G. So if you think of your standard G major bar chord really, but you can just hold on those bottom 4 strings like this. And it's going to be the same picking, but we're starting from the low E string. Apart from that though, it's still down, 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 up, up, up. Okay, just on the bottom 4 strings. So, and still it's going to be 4 bars. So if we put all of that together so far, I'm going to play it. I'll play it a little slower than the original. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so then it goes to a couple of tricky chords here. The first one is an E flat major 7. Your 2nd finger is going to go on that E flat note on the 6th fret of the A string. Okay, 1st finger goes on the 5th fret of the D string. Then you've got your 3rd finger on fret 7 of G, and your 4th finger stretches up to fret 8 of B. So that's a little more complicated, so I'll go through that again. 2nd finger is on 6th fret of A, 1st finger, 5th fret of D, 3rd finger, 7th fret of G, and 4th finger, 8th fret of B. And this time, we're going to do the same arpeggio pattern again, starting from the A string, but this time it's just 2 bars. Okay, so hitting the same strings as we did on the first two chords. Then after that, it goes to a D minor 7 flat 5 chord, or some people call it the D half diminished chord, same thing. So let's have a look at this, another kind of fiddly one. So your first finger is on the 5th fret of the A string, that D note. But then we're going to put your third finger on fret 6 of the D string. Then second finger on fret 5 of G, and fourth finger on fret 6 of B. And I might as well go through that again, because again it's not as intuitive, these chords. So your first finger is on the root note, 5th fret of the A string. Third finger is on the 6th fret of the D string. Second finger goes on the 5th fret of the G. And then fourth finger goes on the 6th fret of the B. And again, it's 2 bars like this. So if we put those 2 bits together, it's going to sound like this. And then the next part is back to the original chord, back to that C power chord shape. For 4 bars. So once you've played through that entire sequence there, you repeat that twice. Listen to the original to pick up the structure of the song. But on the second time round, you've got this strum. It just kind of goes 3 bars, and then 1 strum of that chord before we go into the pre-chorus. The pre-chorus starts with 1, 0 on the low E string. You can either play those as single notes, or I used to play these with power chords. It's quite tricky to get over to the D minor after that. So it's, I would just go 1, 0 at this point. Then you put on a D minor chord, like I said. So that's first finger on the 1st fret of E, third finger on the 3rd fret of B, and second finger on the 2nd fret of G. That's a D minor chord. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the bass note of the chord, so the D string, and then you're going to strum the rest of the chord down, up. It's kind of got a swing rhythm to it, so it's down, down, up. So putting that together with the 1, 0 at the start, it goes 1, 0, bass note, down, up. After that, you need to just keep that chord on, but move your 3rd finger down to the A string, still on the 3rd fret, but of the A string. Then you're going to hit that note on the A string, that root note, and then you're going to strum the top 3 strings again, top 3 or 4, and that's going to be the next chord. So if we put those together, actually I would say avoid that D string, to be honest. So when you play this chord here, you're just going to hit the A string and then the top 3. So we got this. Then we're going to go to a chord called G5. So what you can do is just put on think of a standard G major 4-finger version, but your first finger comes off, making it a G5 because that takes the 3rd away from the chord, basically. So anyway, so to look at what this, to break this chord down, your second finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of low E. It's also going to be muting the A string, so just make sure it should naturally be touching that string anyway, because we don't want that string to ring out. Then your 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then your fourth finger goes on the third fret of high E. So this is the G5 chord, and then from there we've got a similar rhythm again. So it's going to be down on the root note, and then on the higher strings, down, up. This time we've got an extra down. So it goes root, down, up, down. So why don't we put all of that together so far? It's going to be this. After that, it does a very similar thing. It goes 1, 0 to the D minor, same picking, moving that finger down, and then to G again, G5. So really is exactly the same thing, twice in a row. Then after that though, it's a bit different. Instead of 1, 0, we've got the same kind of timing, but we've got an octave on the, so from the 5th fret of the A string, that D note, and then it's called an octave because the next note we're going to play is the 7th fret of the G string. Use your 3rd or 4th finger there. I tend to use my 4th finger, but just whatever's comfortable for you. You definitely want to mute that D string in between. So when you strum through those strings, you just hear those 2 D notes coming through. That is a D octave. But when we played that, we're going to slide straight up to a D sharp or E flat. So straight up to up 1 fret, 1 semitone. But you don't pick on the second one, you just slide up. So it's going to be that. Once you've done that, you then go to a standard E minor chord. So your second finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of A, and your 3rd finger goes on the 2nd fret of D. So you've got that standard E minor, which I'm sure you know already. Then we're going to do the same picking again. Root note, down, up, root note, down, up. Then it does the same thing on A minor, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of D. Same picking though, just the root note is on the A string here. So root, down, up, root, down, up. So why don't we put all of that together from that octave. Okay, now we've got kind of one more chord. This is called an F major 7. So your 1st finger's going on the 1st fret of the B string. Your 2nd finger's going on the 2nd fret of the G string. Then your 4th finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of D. And your 3rd finger's going to go on the 3rd fret of A. And this is the top 5 strings on this one. That's F major 7. And then you're going to do this similar picking again. You hit the A string, which is the root, well, not really the root note. This is the 5th of the chord, the C note. But let's not get too nerdy about it. Let's just hit that A string, and then down, up. Same picking as before. And then your 2nd finger lifts off, and you do that picking again. Then your 2nd finger comes back onto where it was. And then it comes off again. So that last bit is simply going to sound like this. And that part leads us into the chorus. So the chorus starts off with this chord here. Your 3rd finger goes on the 7th fret of A, 4th finger on the 7th fret of D, and 1st finger on the 5th fret of G. So that's our chord here to start with. You strum basically the 3 strings you're holding down, A, D and G twice. Once you strum that twice, you actually pick upwards on the top 3 strings. Up, up, up. Then you strum twice again on those 3 strings. So it's going to sound like this. Once you've done that, these 2 fingers can stay where they are, your 3rd and 4th fingers, and then your 1st finger comes down to the 5th fret of the low E string, making your standard A power chord. And once you play that, you're actually going to descend down to the 3rd fret of so a G power chord, the 2nd fret, and then down to the 1st fret. So it actually goes like this. Let's put that together with the first bit. Okay, once you've hit that F, basically it goes down, down, up, down, down. So you can see that on the up, I actually lifted my 1st finger off. So it goes down, down, up, down, down. Let's put all of that together. In fact, I'll go from the power chord bit. And then it just repeats that. So let's put all of that together. Again. Again. But this time it goes. Okay, so it's very similar, but when you get down to the F power chord, this time you do 1 strum less. You just go down, down, up, down. Then you're gonna keep your 3rd and 4th fingers where they are, but your 1st finger is actually gonna come off, and then it's gonna bar the top 2 strings on the 1st fret like this, and then we're going to strum the top 5 strings. That's the end of the chorus there. So that last repeat, the 3rd repeat, is going to sound like this in total. Okay, so then after that it goes back to another verse, and we've pretty much covered all of the guitar parts in the song there. I'd recommend listening to the original to pick up the exact structure of the song, but we've just run through all of the main parts there. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comments if there's any other tutorials you'd like me to do. And don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. But take care, and I'll see you soon.